I'm gonna start to write
All
it.
on the same subject?
No,
Just
different.
wipe out the whole thing?
No, okay.
Good evening, welcome to the Granby Heights Planning Commission meeting, Wednesday, August 16, 2023. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Majerno?
Here.
Commissioner Cascucci is excused. Commissioner Warps excused. Commissioner Holland?
Here.
Chairman Gentry?
Here.
Mayor Kearns? Here. Councilman Panzera is excused. Director Rosero?
Here.
Director Kelter? Here.
All right, the minutes, do we have them?
They're done, but you do not have enough.
Okay.
They're 7 pages long, and I felt you wanted more time to review
Yeah,
them.
okay, so I just want to make sure I wasn't the only one.
Yeah, no, out of courtessy. I think the best thing to do would
Yeah,
give
we
you
can
more
work.
time.
Yep,
You'll have them tomorrow morning, and they're very long, just as a pre-warning.
okay, all right, well, we had a lot going on last time, so. Okay, all right, anyone who will be speaking tonight or thinks they may speak tonight, please stand, raise your right hand. Please answer in the affirmative. I swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
I do.
All right, thank you. Any other changes to the agenda?
There are no changes.
All right, let's get into it. PC case number 12-2023. This is a change related to previous case was approved on April 19, 2023. It's case number 8-2023, the Granby Heights Public Library. Who would like to be speaking on behalf of the
That's us.
library? Please state your name and address, your affiliation, I guess. Okay.
Hi, my name is Paige Kaplansky, and I am with the architecture team on this project. Address is my personal address.
My business address is.
Okay. I'll just do 1172 Harrison Ave.
All right, thank you.
Carmen Russo, the landscape architect on the project with Realm Collaborative. I actually am a resident here at 1005 Parkway Drive.
Thanks. Yeah, we're having some technical difficulties. You did pass out a.
Yes,
Okay,
yep.
all right, so the audience has access to copies, and then we have copies up here, so just go through it as if it's on the screen.
Okay.
The best that you can. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Oh, good.
I can do it.
Okay.
No problem. So if you recall, we were here in April for a major site plan approval. Those are the first two documents that you see as page 2 and 3 of the document, outlining what the proposal was at the time for the parking lot. If you noted, there was a disclaimer on this because at the time we didn't have a final civil site survey and that there might be some minor tweaking that needed to be done. So what we're asking for today is a variance in some of the requirements for parking spaces on page number 4, parking space dimensions, and then the one-way drive aisle width. You'll see in the black box at the top left on page 4 what is in the zoning code for the city of Grandview versus our proposals. We're proposing to shrink the width of the main drive from what is required to being 20 feet to 17 feet. What we have referenced to the side on that exhibit is from the City of Columbus zoning code and how the interpretation that they use for a one-way drive with angled parking. And what this is going to do is allow us to get the 6-foot walk up against the building with ADA accessibility, which is really what the goal was, to try to get people from Ashland Avenue to the front door. And it'll allow us to retain the curb on the south side of the parking lot, which you see in orange. And the little white box that you see on the south of the orange line that's showing up on the plan is some of the utilities. There's an existing transformer, and that's where the AEP comes into the building. And so we were trying not to have to relocate utilities to keep us not only on budget, but on schedule for the project. So in going with this new layout and dimensional quality for the parking, it'll allow us to keep the curb on the south side of the parking lot and not have to basically rebuild the parking lot, but we're just renovating the parking lot. So that's essentially what we're asking for today, is the variance on the aisle width.
Okay. Thank you. Liz?
Yeah.
To put together?
Yeah, so the staff report is brief, since really the majority of this was reviewed previously. The new bits are just the first page, and then there's reference information behind there. The minutes are the part that are not covered in writing, and then behind that is the staff report from last time. The agenda actually listed only one specific variance, but there is a second with the reduction of the parking count, so I added that into the request to language. The agenda doesn't really change because we're asking for major site plan review, so it covers whatever comes up. In terms of considerations, what we would say is that the site plan that the revision of the site plan, and this is one of the issues that actually I'd like to work on over time here, is that we see projects early and more is discovered as you continue working on them. And so the refinements, there's a question as to, what needs to come back and what doesn't. There are some things in the code that are aspirational, not aspirational, that are guidelines, and there's some that are requirements. And so that might be a line we could look at. But in this particular case, they're a little bit, I guess they're both variants, they're both specific requirements, because the strategy isn't changing, which is to say we're still doing diagonal parking, we still have a one-way drive, like all of those considerations haven't really changed. What has changed is very specific things that are variance related, that are listed as specific requirements in the code. So I think this kind of case is clearer than some others that might have things that have changed and haven't necessarily changed the intent of the submission. But in any event, the proposal very much aligns with what they intended, and actually may in some ways work better from the perspective of narrowing down the drive lane to further, encourage people not to go the wrong direction. The dimensions are dimensions that are proven in other jurisdictions to be acceptable and have been adopted. The number of parking spaces is a little bit reduced from the previous submission and approval, which was 62 down to 59, the final layout. And then I think that's really it. So there's basically two variances. One is from the 20-foot to the 17-foot driveway, and then the other is from the previously approved 62 spaces to 59 spaces on site. We would recommend approval, no issues.
Okay, thank you. Sarah, questions or comments?
I don't have anything. It seems straightforward. I appreciate the sort of reference to Columbus and that it's, the reduction is still within, a workable number. I also think that narrowing it up will help with slowing people down when they have to do that stuff. And I appreciate the attention to the pedestrian connection and making sure that's strong. So I think for our community, that's really important to have that good pedestrian connection. So I don't have any questions or issues.
Thanks. Mark?
Yeah, I think it's also straightforward. I actually think it's good that you're not moving the curb, because not just utilities, but we'd be closer to the neighbor, and it's a buffer, for the neighbor. And that's important to them, I'm sure. And again, with the costs of things, the utilities would be skyrocket. Glad you found a solution. I think that is workable. The 6 foot is important. I think that's making the right call. And the loss of a few parking spaces to make that all work doesn't bother me. I think, there's still street parking, and I think you've shown in your, some of your figures earlier on that things peak at times, and most of the time there's not going to be any problem, and on that rare occasion, there's just going to be a couple more people on the street. Maybe when the park, one of the concerts are going on, but a lot of people walk through too, so it's a walkable neighborhood. So if it was downtown, in a tighter urban area, it might be more of a problem.
submission and communicating very clearly, so. All right, any audience members have any questions or comments?
Yeah, we are the adjacent neighbors. We're at
Adjacent,
1179 Oakland.
wait, say that again, sorry.
1179 Oakland.
Okay, all right,
So we're on the Oakland side.
okay.
My question, I just saw that you're going to remove the tree.
Did you state your name?
Oh, Beth Malkus, Scapa.
Okay.
The tree is going to be removed. This is just a personal opinion. Could we make it, that's a big tree, and that's going to be removed. And my question is can it be made into some sort of art, taking the wood and making it into some sort of art for the library?
And you're talking about the tree on the corner of the parking lot here?
No, I'm talking about the tree that's by
Opposite
the
the entrance.
utility.
It's on the sheet.
Opposite
before.
the-
It's in the center
It's-
of the
it's-
parking lot.
Center.
It's on sheet 2.
Yeah, it's a pretty big tree.
Oh, okay, yeah, where it says remove tree.
Yeah, but I would also say that, you know, if you're gonna remove that, there's another tree that's next to it, that's my neighbor's, that needs to be removed. It has poison ivy on it. That's neither here, but I'm just saying that to think, you know, using the wood as art rather than grinding it up as mulch.
Well, I will say, well, first of all, is there a motion to remove a neighbor's tree?
No, that's their
Just
deal.
kidding. I'm just kidding.
But yeah,
Why would I guess, and I don't know if you could answer this tonight, I mean, does the tree need to be removed because of something with the
yeah,
project?
Yeah,
because
so
there's
the-
this parking, it's gonna become parking.
Yeah, the parking and also the island is getting shortened up to make way for the one-way traffic, because right now that island is pretty long and it stretches into the drive lane.
You're losing the whole.
So, yeah, so we're actually pulling the curb back a little bit so that you keep the 17 feet the whole way through.
Okay.
So, and you're not removing there's a tree over here, so this is my shrub line, there's a tree that's right here, that's not gonna be removed?
Correct.
So that's was in honor of the librarian. So, yeah, that big tree, if it could be used as making, you know, I don't know,
All right.
being creative.
No, I mean, is it, that's something that you could pass on to the decision
Yeah,
makers of
actually,
the library?
Denise
Oh,
is
okay.
here from
I didn't
the
see- I
library,
didn't
yeah.
see back here.
Another advisement, I'm not certain we can, I can't promise you, but we will absolutely look into it.
I mean, you've got the guy up here on Grady Avenue that's making beautiful furniture, tables and stuff with the wood.
Would you be willing to share this contact information with me, please?
Yes, and I know that there's also some artists that actually do sculptures out that are here in town.
As long as it moves to another location when it's a sculpture, that would be great.
Yeah, it does have to move.
Not necessarily, not necessarily off library property, just it can't stay
Yeah,
right
yeah,
where it is.
no, I know,
So,
yeah,
yes.
they would have to,
Yeah,
yeah,
that'd be
I
great.
can get you.
If you would
names
share
of
that
those.
with me, I would appreciate it.
Why don't you, I'm done.
All right,
And then
fine.
mine is all about the tree.
Well, I appreciate the input,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, I won't talk about the poison ivy tree.
Uh,
Sorry.
We'd agree with you on
That's
that.
Other
outside the
questions
scope.
or comments? None?
It's
I'll
also,
entertain a motion.
drops big branches.
I'd like to make a motion on PC case 12-2023 at 1685 West First Avenue to approve the motion of the two requests for variances. The first one is on the number of parking spaces, to reduce that to the 59 total, and the second to allow for the 17-foot one-way drive aisle with the 20-foot wide parking lanes to allow for the 6-foot sidewalk.
Second. Commissioner Bowen?
Yes?
Commissioner Bonjero?
Yes.
Chairman Gentry?
Yes.
Approved.
You're all good. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it. Any other business?
No business tonight, other than keep an eye out for invitations to a certain groundbreaking event coming your way soon.
Excited about that.
All right, well, we're adjourned.